If you guys want to get into your next personal property, or you haven't bought your first personal property, today we're going to get into what kind of financials you need to, have or prepare so that way you can buy that house that you've always wanted. Now, please consider this is your first house, maybe not your best house. This is your next house, maybe not your dream house, but we're going to talk about the things that you need so you can start making your way towards, so that way when the opportunity comes up that you're ready. So let's get right into it. What up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action right here on YouTube and Instagram. Right here, I document my journey so that way I can show you guys, so I can educate, inspire, and be an example that real estate can, replace your 9-to-5 income. Here I do my best to teach you guys how to make as much money as possible in a 30-day period of time while cherry picking the very best houses for yourself. Okay, and our vehicle is real estate. Okay, now my first house was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 1,900 square feet, 1 acre, 2 carport that I found off market that I was able to find at a great deal. My second house, my dream house that we live at, that's what we're shooting at today, 6,000 square foot to sit on 22 acres. So when I say I'm giving you real advice from my particular scenario, I'm giving you actual advice. Now, also, before we jump right into this, keep in mind, I am a creative real estate investor. So I use different strategies outside of the traditional means. I've used loans before, but a lot of my stuff is outside of the box. So if you're ready to get into this, kind of change your mindset, change your thinking about it, because these are my financial preparation tips for anyone. Doesn't matter if you have bad credit, no money, felonies on your record, or whatever the case may be, you'll be able to buy your next personal house, by preparing to do these things. So I want you to be open-minded. First of all, know what you want, but be open to things being just a little, a little different, but you could make it into what you want. Okay. So first things first is number one, no matter if you're going the traditional route of going to get a loan, or if you're going to be going creative route, you need to save up for some kind of down payment. Now, I have had several houses that I've been able to buy with no down payment, but if you go ahead and plan on having that down payment saved, you'll have a little rehab money, or you'll have some extra savings money, so that way you can, be ready for whatever, might happen. Now, if you do go that traditional route, the down payment is different at different levels. It could be as low as 0 with like a VA loan. They have 100% financing for VAs. They even cover your closing cost. Or it might be a USDA loan, which is also 100%. You just come to the table with your closing cost, or it might be an FHA loan, which is for, low to moderate income, first time home buyers, 3.5% to 5% down, or it might be a conventional loan. It'll be 10 to 20% down. That down payment is all going to depend on, what kind of loan you end up getting. The creative side, like I like to go, it'll be all up to you and what you can negotiate. Like I've said, I've had people agree to 0 money down. I've had people agree to $30,000 down. It's all up to what you can get them to negotiate with. Now, don't see your down payment as all about your money, because this real estate game is a paper business. Money can be moved around. Now, think about this. You're driving around in the car and you hear this radio, this guy on the radio talking about, we'll give you $4,000 more for your trade. This is how this works. The way people are able to give people, quote unquote, more money for their trade, or they're able to create this money, is because they kind of move around, digits on paper. Okay. Let me give an example. You need $15,000 down, but you don't necessarily want to use the $15,000 that you got, or you don't have $15,000. One way you can create that $15,000 down, the seller wants $200,000. You can offer that seller $215,000 with $15,000 seller concessions. Seller concessions allows that $15,000 to be used as a credit on the HUD, so you can move that 15 grand around wherever you like, whether you want to put it on a check to a contractor, whether you want to put it on a check to the banking institution, whether you want to use it wherever you like for closing costs, that seller credit can be used as a down payment and get you that loan that you want with zero money down. Hope that makes sense. So the next thing that you're going to need to do is keep your eye on your credit. Okay. Now, once again, we can go traditional or we can go creative. Either way, your eyes need to be on your credit. Now, on the traditional route, the better your credit score, the easier it's going to be to get that loan. The quicker you're going to be able to close, the better the term sheet that you're going to get. So you save the most amount of money. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your balances on your credit cards 30% or less, 10% or less, or making, larger payments than normal. Okay. Not too large, because you do need to save up for that down payment and keep that cash in your bank. From my experience, when it comes to keeping a solid credit score, it's best to have 3 revolving lines, so credit cards. So 3 revolving lines of credit or more, that really helps you. Secondly, if you have like a collections out there, dispute that thing and get that joint off, or, have them do a little settlement, pay them off so you can get that off. The better and more pretty your credit looks, the easier this process is going to be. Add yourself onto some authorized, add yourself as an authorized user on somebody else's credit card. It's negotiable. So all you got to do is call them, stop ignoring it, pick up that phone and call them, but keep that credit squeaky clean. Now, if you're going the creative route, the reason why you want to keep your credit clean is because some of these sellers out here, they're not going to be pulling your credit. They're not going to be, looking at your history or anything like that. But what I have had happen is that they'll agree to my crazy term, $5,000 down, $10,000 down, 30-year term at 3%. They've agreed to my crazy terms, but on one condition: send me a screenshot of your credit score, And so you want to keep that credit score as good as you can, because if you get that dream house, if you get them to agree to that and they put a contingency on it, I'll agree to this, but send me a screenshot. You want to make sure that credit score is a true representation of how you want to keep your household. Okay. Now, number 3 is you need to know your numbers. Okay. You about to have taxes. Okay. Property tax. You about to have a whole house. That means you got electrical. You might have some gas to pay for. You're going to have maintenance. You're definitely going to have a lawn. You know what I mean? Real men have green grass, by the way. If you got a wife, she want to upgrade some stuff. Realistically, if they got carpet in that house and you got kids, realistically, you need to freshen up that carpet or at least shampoo it so it's nice and clean for your family. But you need to know your numbers. Most importantly, you need to make sure that you have some kind of equity that you're buying with. I don't care who you are, okay? JJ, Ray, Day, Michael Jackson, Teddy, whatever. You need to be buying with some equity. For, most of Americans, you don't have any kind of net worth, but the easiest net worth to get is inside of your house. And so you want to make sure that every property that you buy, including your personal one, you're looking at it with an investor, lens and having some kind of equity. 5%, 10%, 15%. I typically buy with 30% or more equity in all of my houses, including this personal house right here. Okay. So you need to know your numbers. What is the utilities, might be? So you might have to call Duke Energy and say, hey, what's the average utility bill at this particular address? I'm thinking about buying it. They will tell you what the average usage is and what the average bill is on that house. If you see that old carpet, you might want to go ahead and negotiate that in the deal. Like, hey, Mr. Seller, I'm willing to pay that price if you give me $3,000 seller concession so I can use for that carpet. If you think it just can be cleaned, then you might want to call a cleaning company, have them provide you with an invoice and put that in your deal and negotiate it. Or at least expect that's going to be an expense that you have right after closing. Or see if your realtor is willing to take that out of their commission. You see what I'm saying? As a gift to you. You just need to know your numbers so that way you can walk in expecting and prepared. So your first quarter of new home ownership is wonderful, marvelous, glorious, amazing, gratefulness, and you're able to create that experience that you're looking to get. Okay. So once again, we talked about getting prepared financially, to buy your next personal house, whether you're doing the traditional route or whether you're doing it the creative route. Now, if for whatever reason the traditional route doesn't look as good, for you with your current set of circumstances, how much money you have down, your savings, the kind of job that you have and how you get paid, or you haven't filed your taxes in the last few years and the creative route looks a lot more fair to you, I want you to check out this free subject to how to buy houses without having to qualify for a loan training that we did a few years ago. And it's 4 parts. Not you qualifying for a loan, you taking over somebody else's mortgage. Check this one out.